And Sindarov here plays pawn to e5. Wow, it's a very bold move, because if you take here, queen takes e5, and now f4 could be very, very dangerous with pieces coming out very quickly. Knight f2, e4. But let's see what Magnus does. Does he take it? Because even pushing the pawn looks interesting. And you can see how Magnus is taking his time for this decision, because he considers this to be a very, very important moment in the game. Magnus trying to calm himself down, pushes this pawn to d5, c6 played, and pawn to c4. Knight p6, knight comes to e3, and f5 somewhere before the knight would have jumped was very cool. So somewhere here, if you would have played f5 was nice, but now he goes d6 planning f5, and perhaps Magnus should stop it here with pawn to g4. It's a tough move considering your king is here, but with the bishop looking here and the knight looking here, g4 makes all the sense. Magnus goes knight to b3. Not the best move in the position, because now Javokhir can push the pawn to f5. It's not an easy move, but it is a very cool move. Look at this, f5 with the idea of f4, and if white plays f4, then do not push e4. Just stay here, just stay in the position. Could be very nice. And Sindarov taking his time here. He has close to 4 minutes here on the clock. I think the players are definitely taking a lot of time. f5 on the board, f4 pushed, e4 very quickly played by Sindarov, but that's not the best move, because now g4 is a very, very good move. Now the thing about g4, Magnus plays it, is that although it's a great move, the king gets a bit weakened here. And so if take now, e4 pawn is hanging, so knight d2 attacking here, queen g3, f5, f6. There are many possibilities. He goes queen g3 first. What a game this is turning out to be already. We are on move number 8, but so much excitement already. It's insane how freestyle chess really takes the players into uncharted territory so quickly and brings forth such exciting chess. Now what should Sindarov do? I mean, a natural move is to defend this pawn with h5. The other idea is, I'm not so sure. There's some crazy move with a5, a4, but no one can find that. Bishop a7, getting the bishop here. Okay, that's a bit too much to think that someone would find a5 as a move. Oh, B! Javokhir Sindarov finds a5 on the board. What a guy he is. Man, Sindarov showing why he is the current World Cup champion. a5. If you play knight a5, boom, bishop a7. He wants to get the bishop on this diagonal. Man, this is just incredible freestyle chess. This is creativity at its highest. f5 played. And now maybe f6 is on the cards, but more importantly, you've blocked the bishop's path here, which means that the queen can also take on g4. So he plays bishop to a7, and he's like, okay, I'm going to take here. Now, this is pinned. You see this. So king g2 makes the most sense in such a position. And then you come out of the pin. But so simple. Not so simple here. He takes on g4. And look at this. Guys, if you are careless, let's say, for example, knight c4, king g2. By the way, it's a check. And you play a move like a4. Boom! Knight h6 is a checkmate. Nothing less. It's insane. So let's see what Sindarov does here. Magnus creating such pressure by taking this pawn. And Javokhir is like, wow, this cannot be right. I mean, I'm winning the c4 pawn with a check. He's just trying to make sure that he has the right follow-up in the position. And I think Sindarov is thinking a few steps ahead. He takes on c4 with a check. King comes up to g2 and boom, h5. What a move. So that if knight h6 check, you can take. You can also go king h7, but queen g6 is just game over, because now your king has to come up, and now bishop e4 and white is winning. So knight h6 check, you must take with the rook here. Rook h6, the only move that is there. But first, will Magnus give that check or not is the question. I mean, what else do you do? Your position is so bad. Check. He gives a check. And Sindarov takes it instantly. Bishop takes and queen e5. Very, very interesting move. Stopping the mate here. Offering a queen trade. That is possible. But if you see right now, he is a exchange down. Yes, he's an exchange down. Rook f7 would have been a very, very nice move. But queen e5. Now, the thing is, there is a very strong move here, which is knight d2. Because if I take your queen, you take back with the knight. The bishop is hanging. You need to spend time on that. I'll take the pawn next move. But if you play knight d2, I'm attacking your knight. He finds it. He finds knight d2. What a beautiful move. And now if you move the knight, I'll take and I'll spoil your structure. Correct? Otherwise, if you take on d2, I can later first take on e5 and then come back with my bishop. So it's a very, very sophisticated backward move. Sindarov takes it. And now, I mean, don't take on d2 with your bishop, because now queen takes b2. It attacks the bishop. It keeps the threads. I mean, everything intact. And black is totally better here. So maybe for Magnus, it's like take here, and then take back the knight. That's the important point. Let's see what Magnus does here. Well, clearly both players are under a lot of pressure. Queen takes e5, d takes, bishop d2 taken, and now Sindarov has to take on d5. Just make his structure really solid. Takes it, takes on d5, and bishop takes a5. Is that pawn even important is the big question. Magnus goes a4. I love this move because he wants to pop his bishop out here and attack the pawn on d5. But for now, if we count the number of pawns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. White has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 2 pawns for an exchange here that black has, and bishop f5 would be the third pawn that you will win here. He chops it. Bishop takes f5 taken here. What a move. And now the thing is, the bishop on f5 is, quite well placed. Bishop a2. I'll simply go back bishop e6 in the position. And Magnus, has slowed down a bit. He goes bishop a2. 44 seconds left. Sindarov, there's nothing else to do here. He must go bishop e6, but that allows the trade of the rooks, which is sometimes in white's favor because black having a rook on the board would help him. Plays bishop e6 here. And now rook takes f8 check. King takes on f8. And the thing is, after king e7, there's d4, e3, e4, d3. That's the plan. You bring your knight out. That's how you want to play here as white, as black here. Magnus really not sure about his position. I think Sindarov's position is not just slightly better, but also easier to play. He takes on a5, knight c6, bishop comes back to c3, and now bring the king up. Bring the king up so that you can push d4 here. Sindarov has like 30-40 extra seconds on the clock. Can he make it count? b4, Magnus starting to push his queenside majority. I think it's time to push d4 now. Push it to get that central pawns rolling. Well, it's not an easy decision. He goes knight d4. He doesn't go for it. But logically, he's attacking the pawn on e2 now. Takes. Bishop takes. And he goes king d6 very quickly. Bishop c3 was strong. Rook c1 played. Very good move by Magnus. Stopping bishop c3. The position looks now under control because I have the threats of b5 and a6. He goes back, stopping b5. Rook d1. Not the best move. Maybe there's bishop g4, which is very difficult to meet. But he goes the other side. Rook c1 played. Comes back, attacks the pawn on e2. King f1, good move. Both playing high quality chess right now. It's around even the position. But anything can happen here. Anyone can go wrong. He comes back, bd7, maybe trying to give some checks here to push the king away. Magnus goes rook b1. He blunders because bishop c3 now is super strong. It stops both the pawns from moving. And the rook also can't move because b4 hangs, finds it. Amazing. Sindarov finds it. Bishop b3. And now d4, e3. Push the pawns in the center. That would be a great move. In fact, e3 starts with bishop h3 check also in the position. He goes bishop b5, king f2, g5, e3 played. And d4 pushing the pawn forward. He's completely winning here. Javokhir just bd2. Finds it. Rook b3. Bishop d3. No, he goes h4. Bishop g6. Bishop c4. And the rook is being hunted here. Bishop e3 check. King e1. What a winning position here. b5. He chops the pawn. Magnus takes the central pawns. Bishop c6 was important. He takes on b7. Bishop d4. Players have no time. Rook a2. Blunder check. He goes after the rook. Rook a3. And now bishop b4. Amazing chess. Magnus has 18 seconds. He stops here and thinks Javokhir has 5 seconds. He's thinking if I move my rook, there will be a check and I'll be in trouble. So he pushes forward. Javokhir picks up the rook. Pawn is queening. Another bishop comes back, allowing Magnus to queen. Whoa, Magnus takes the queen. Check. Pawn push. Makes a queen. What a game this is. Javokhir has an extra bishop. He's winning. Go here, Javokhir. But it's difficult move to make because there's bishop c8. So he goes to c5. Not the best square. Queen e7 check. King b5 a must. Don't give up your bishop. He goes king b5. A check on e8. King b6. He goes to a5. Check. King b6. Queen a6. King c7 had to be played. Queen a7 check. King goes back. Check here. And now the position is drawn, unfortunately, because Magnus will win this bishop with a check, it seems. Oof. King c8. Check here. Check again. Draw is enough for Magnus. Queen b4 with a check. Magnus Carlsen somehow managed to escape there. Takes. King f5. And now the king goes to g4. He's coming here. But Magnus very calmly brings his bishop back to g2. And Javokhir, unable to find a way to break through, plays here g4 and loses on time. Or a draw. I don't know what happened, but a draw is the result here. Javokhir wasn't winning.